Hello everyone, and we're here on day 2. Let's wait a few minutes until you start connecting. I flipped my camera today in order for you to see like the right arm that I'm using all the time. So I can't see you now, but I'm very happy to have you here. Let's wait 1 minute and and then I'll start. Welcome everyone to day 2 of this live series. If you didn't see the first video, that's absolutely fine. I have the recording of the last lesson, so if you want the first lesson, just send me a private message with your email address and I'll share with you happily, okay? I still will do a recap today of what we did on day 1, but we're going to touch other interesting points. So we're going to talk about a recap from what we did on day 1, which was Tuesday or Monday. I don't even know what day of the week we're in anymore with this lockdown thing. But we spoke about body position when playing the piano, like what's the right position and what's the wrong position. I gave you a few examples and I'll briefly touch that again. I'll briefly touch about like the notes, the difference between black and white notes, but very briefly. And then I'm going to talk about that free resource that you have on my link in bio. If you haven't got it yet, it's still there. You can go and get it. Just go and download it, and it's absolutely free. About the chords, and also I'm going to give you an introduction to music theory or music reading or solfege, like as I learned it, which is the most powerful tool that I've ever learned. Why? Because once I knew how to read music, I could play different instruments. I've played the drums, I've played the viola, I've played the flute, and I've played the recorder. And I've sang in the past, or I sing. I still sing because I'm a choir director. But if I didn't have that deep knowledge of music reading, music writing, I wouldn't have been able to do so much. Okay, so I'm going to introduce that today too. So, to start really easy, let me remind you, I just want to make sure that you all see me. Let me just check the screen. Can you see me? Yes, I think you can. Perfect. So, just to recap, on the position, remember that your back needs to be completely straight. Your forearm needs to be making like a complete straight line. Your legs need to be free, okay? If you don't have an artist bench and you have any sort of bench or chair, that's absolutely no problem. Just make sure that is at your right height. I was teaching a 5-year-old recently, well, before everything happened. And if my seat wasn't, like the height wasn't good enough for that 5-year-old, I always use a cushion, a group of, like a bunch of books or whatever, but just make sure that that forearm is straight. Otherwise, the little wrist can hurt or your wrist can hurt. So make sure that your forearm is straight, and remember, fingers, curvy fingers. Imagine that you have that apple inside your hand, or that lemon, or that mango, if you have big hands like me. Okay, so that's that. Then, the other thing that I explained the other day was the difference between black and white notes, because they can be very confusing if you've never played the piano before, but it's very simple. I was explaining that you have black and white notes, and you have, for the black ones, groups of 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2. And in order to find the first note that we learned the other day, which was C, you have to go to the 2 bunny ears, which is the group of 2, the note before those two would be C, okay? The main note, I don't know if you remember, that I mentioned the other day was middle C, which is close to the letters or close to the little key that your piano have. If you have a keyboard, it can be a little bit different, but it's still very simple to find middle C. It's always going to depend on how many keys your keyboard has, but it's simple to find, okay? So now you know that we have the two bunny ears, we have groups of three black notes, we have middle C before the two bunny ears close to the letters of the piano, and that's your middle C. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is about the free resource. The free resource, you have chords, right? And chords are really important, and I wanted to share the chords with you to begin with, because once you know a tune with your right hand, if you know how to play chords with your left hand, then you're free to accompany any tune, you know, if you know how to play different chords and different keys. And keys are these letters here, okay? So this A means the A key and starts with the A note, okay? I don't know if you remember the other day, I spoke about the little scale that I taught you. A short, very short version of the C major scale. Why C major? Because we start with C, okay? So a scale always starts with the name that, like, she has, the scale. So in this case, we're talking about the chords guide. I don't know if you remember that we also spoke about the different notes, and they are called are like the alphabet letters, like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and A. Well, A repeats because the piano repeats over and over. And in the Spanish or French methodology, we call them do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And these notes here, you see A, B, I don't know if you can see. If you can't see it, you have this in my link in bio. You have A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And here on this side you have A with an M. So a capital letter A with an M, that means minor. And I'm going to play now A as a major, which is the capital letter A, and A minor, for you to listen to that difference between a major key and a minor key. In the guide, I explained that a major key, for me, sounds bright, sounds happy, and a minor key can sound a little bit sad, or let's call it dark. I love a minor key, don't take me wrong, but they sound slightly different. So I'm going to play now with my right hand. I'm going to find A really close to middle C. So we have middle C here, two bunny ears, the note before, that's C, right? If we go right or up in the piano, we go with the alphabet C, D, E, F, G. If we go down, we go against the alphabet, so we go C, B, and A. And that's the first note that I need to put my finger in, because that's highlighted there. Okay, so you have A, then you have C sharp, which is a black note, it's also highlighted there. And then you have E. And you're going to be using finger 1, finger 3, and finger 5 for that. So these 3 fingers. So that's your major, A major chord. Okay? Very simple. Now I want you to hear the difference between a major chord and a minor chord. So I'll play the major again. And now I'm going to play the minor. Does that sound different? It definitely does, right? So I love a minor chord. We use the exact same fingers. We're going to use A, we're going to use C, and we're going to use E, but there's not going to be a sharp in the A minor chord. And you can see it clearly there highlighted on your free chords guide. Now I'm going to play B, the B chord, B major one, and then the B minor. So the B major, we're going to use different fingers now. We're going to use 1, 2 and 4 because we have 2 black notes highlighted here, and it's easier to play black notes with finger 4 than with finger 5. So we're going to do 1. That's your B major. Okay? And now we're going to play the B minor, B, D, and F. But D and F are not going to be sharp. That's a minor chord. So I just wanted to explain you briefly which fingers to use with those chords and for you to start practicing them and enjoying them, because music is about enjoying. Okay? So that's that. Let me see if you have added some comments. Is there any comments there? Yeah? Any questions? No? Okay. So I'll keep going. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and it makes me so excited, is about how to read music. And for that, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to draw here on my whiteboard, if this wants to draw for me, because I don't think it does. I'm going to draw here, oh, the treble clef. Can you see that? Is it seeable? Or is it very, very light? That is a stave. And a stave is where we write music. That's the most powerful tool that you'll ever learn, and that's what I most teach my students, how to read, how to write music. Okay? So this sign here, so depending on which hand, you have 2 hands on the piano mainly, and depending on which hand you're going to be playing, this sign here over the right, it's going to change, okay? So I'm going to show you some music now for you to be able to see. So, the very first few lessons that I teach, I use this book for the very first few lessons. So, we have here what I was talking about, the treble clef, okay? That sign there. So that, for very basic students, for beginners, I always explain to them that the treble clef mainly means the right hand, okay? Or the right hand. Like you see me, I don't have the flip thing now anymore, so this is the right hand. So the treble clef means mainly the right hand. If we see a different sign for the piano, that would be the bass clef, which means left hand, okay? But today I only want to talk about the treble clef and the right hand. And one note that was the note that I told you that is the first note that we always introduced, which is middle C, okay? I want you to teach you how to find middle C easily, because it's absolutely simple to find middle C, and then from there other notes. Okay, so we have here the treble clef, right? We have the stave. We have one stave for the right hand, another stave for the left hand, but we're going to focus on the right hand stave, okay? And I need you to have a look at the stave and tell me in the comments how many lines do you see there? How many lines do you see in this top stave with the treble clef on it? Anybody saying it? So we have 5 lines in the stave, okay? 5 lines, and yeah? Is there somebody saying it? Yeah? Okay, so we have 5 lines in the stave, and would you be able to know which one is the first line? Would it be the top line or the bottom line? Is there somebody that knows? So I'll say it. It's the bottom line. So we have line 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so we always start counting from below. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And each line has a different name. Okay, so in the stave, what you need to remember, depending on the sign that you see, you're going to be playing right or left hand. There are 5 lines. Each line has a name. And there are 4 spaces. Okay? So in order to find middle C, you'll see how easy it is. Middle C is the only note that is outside the 5 lines, right? below the first line with a line through it. Okay, it's the only note that it's outside the stave, below the first line with a line through it. Very, very simple. Extremely simple to find. Okay, so if we look at this piece here, we have a few middle Cs. And they're different colors. That's another thing that I'm going to explain further. Okay, very important that you know how to recognize middle C, because for beginners, this is a children's book. For adults, I use another book. But for beginners, if you can see, there's loads of middle Cs. So this is one here, one here, one here, one here, one here. Okay, and they can be different colors and shapes. That doesn't matter as long as they're like below the first line, outside the 5 lines, and with a line through it. It's a middle C. Okay. So another thing that I mentioned the other day that I mentioned today again too, is that the notes, if we go this way on the piano, that means going up, they go with the alphabet, and if we go that way, we go left, we go against the alphabet. So if we have middle C here, the next direct note is going to be D. Very simple. Okay, we have middle C and D. Okay, and those are your first 2 notes. Now the other day I explained the very simple C major scale using C, D, E, F, G for you to get to know the keyboard a little bit better, and you can still practice that because that gives you strength in your fingers, and it doesn't really matter that you know how to play a few notes without knowing how to read them at the very beginning. But I wouldn't recommend you moving forward without knowing how to read music. Okay? So before we finish today, I want to explain you how to draw the treble clef, because I love drawing the treble clef. That's one of the things that I teach my students at the very beginning, how to draw and how to write music, so that if they're extremely creative, they can go and write their own music from day one. You know, they don't have to wait, I don't know, for 5 or 6 years until they know some music writing to write their own pieces. No, from day one, like month 1, let's call it, they know and they are creative enough to write their own music, and that's really good. So how to draw the treble clef? I'll trace it with my hand here. I'll explain it to you, and you can do that at home. So you have to go on the second line. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines. You have to go on the second line. You draw a tiny number 1, then you go around and around and up and down. Okay, so it's a really good and beautiful exercise that I love giving my students any age. You know, like kids have a lot of fun with it, and so do adults. They love it. So you can try at home, drawing your treble clef, sorry, and take a piece of music and start looking for middle C if you want to see if you understand how to find it, you know, outside the 5 lines, below the first line, with a line through it, which is the simplest note. And I'm very grateful, I didn't say it at the beginning, but I'm extremely grateful for all your messages. Like I've received loads of messages after the first session. I'm so happy. So keep sending them, I love them. And I'll see you on Saturday. Today's Thursday, I know that. It's my son's birthday tomorrow. So I'll see you on Saturday. It was a pleasure having you here today too. I can't really see your comments because in order to avoid the flipping, I turned the camera and I can't really see what you're saying. But I hope you have a fantastic Good Friday, and I'll see you again on Saturday. So remember to smile before you play the piano. Remember to do your breathings. We didn't do it today because I went straight to the topic as I had so much to cover and not much time. But remember to enjoy yourself when you're going to make music, because that's what it's all about. Okay, so have a beautiful Friday. Have a very nice rest of the evening, and see you Saturday. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna play something. Let me just play something. I left my book in another place. I'll play something for you. So I'm not gonna tell you to try and find middle C in this book now, because it won't be easy. But let me see what I can play. I'll play something. You see, the power of knowing how to read music is that I can literally play anything, you know? And I can grab another instrument. Obviously, like, I'm not gonna be as fast in the flute like I am in the piano, but the good thing is that, you know, I can read anything. Where is that sonata here? So I hope you like this one. I was like, oh my god, I hope it's good. So anyway guys, I'll see you Saturday again. Have a nice, beautiful rest of the evening. Have a lovely Good Friday. Enjoy this time with family or without family or on your own.